everyone, my name is Nancy Stolick and I'm the Education Manager at Friends of the Rappahannock. Today I am standing in our local river. This is the Rappahannock River. To this side of me is Fredericksburg, and on the other side, that's a little island called Hunter's Island. On the other side of Hunter's Island is Stafford. So this is upriver, so I'm pointing west now. And this is east, downriver. So the city of Fredericksburg is right down there, and as is Falmouth Bridge. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about some simple concepts that we talk about all the time in our education programs, and that's leave no trace and water conservation, and a little bit about what it means to be a river steward.
Hello, my name is Brent Hunsinger. I am one of the river stewards with Friends of the Rappahannock. We are a watershed advocacy group that works to protect and restore the Rappahannock River. As a river steward, part of the river steward program, we have 4 different river stewards from the headwaters in the mountains of the Blue Ridge all the way down to the Chesapeake Bay. My region is Spotsylvania, King George, and Caroline counties. As a river steward, it is my job to work with all of the localities, all the citizens, and all the businesses, and all the other groups that are in those 3 counties. With that, we are the kind of like the frontline contact person for most of the advocacy and restoration work that we do, and we work hand in hand with our education staff to educate kids in the schools and adults on interpretive paddle trips and other tree plantings and litter cleanup activities that we do in those counties.
Here at this canoe landing, this is actually the Virginia Outdoor Center's canoe landing, we have a couple points of interest. One is a river gauge that we could keep up all the time, and there's many river gauges along the river. That's to tell paddlers and other people interested in the river, either for recreation, fishing, or any reason, if the water is in a safe level. Right now it's in the green, so this is a safe level. The yellow would be approaching danger, and red, you never want to be on the river when the water is in the red. The water is moving too fast, and it's hard to orchestrate a rescue if you needed a rescue. So we advocate to never get in the water unless it's in the green, and always to have your personal flotation device on you, which I have, as does my friend who's recording me. Up here you can see the river cam. You can go to our website, Friends of the Rappahannock, and look at the river cam, and this will show you day and night what the levels of the river were, so you could help plan your trip along the river.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Anderson. I'm an environmental educator at Friends of the Rappahannock. Today we are on the Rappahannock River, and I just wanted to go over some safety. So whenever you get in the river, whether you're tubing, kayaking, or just playing in the river, we want to make sure that you have a life jacket on, also called a PFD, personal flotation device. The reason that we want to make sure that we have one on, yes, it is shallow, but there are lots of rocks that you might slip on and super slippery. Also, things called strainers. If you look behind me, that is trees that have fallen. And just like a strainer you would with spaghetti, it collects things even though it lets water through. And so if you get hung up on the strainer, your PFD will help to keep you safe and afloat so you can still breathe. Another thing that you need are water shoes or river shoes. Again, the rocks are super slippery. People may have trash that have floated to the bottom. People fish. So we found fishing lures on the bottom, and we want to make sure that your feet don't get cut and other things like that. Also, we say please bring an adult with you. You always want to have somebody else with you when you are on the river, just in case something happens, and they can call rescue or 911.
teach about at Friends of the Rappahannock is we teach everything about watersheds, and one of the things is water conservation. So there's a couple things, a couple concepts that deal with water conservation, and one is that we want to conserve clean water. So that means we want to keep water clean, but we also want to conserve the clean water that we do have. So that means making sure we're not being wasteful with water. That's one side of water conservation. But the other part is to maintain the clean water sources that we have. If this Rappahannock River was not clean, we would not be safe tubing in it. So there's a few things as a group that we do to make sure that the Rappahannock River is clean and stays healthy and scenic. And one of them is water quality monitoring. I'm going to try to tube closer to my friend here. We are tubing in the Rappahannock River today. We're on our way to the city of Fredericksburg. So, in water quality monitoring, we look at basically two things. We look at the living things, so we do biological monitoring, and we look at the chemicals, so we do chemical monitoring. For biological monitoring, we look at the living things in the river. And what we normally look at are macro invertebrates up in this section of the river. Those are the small bugs. Macro means bigger than 3 millimeters, so you can see them with the naked eye. And invertebrates means it doesn't have a vertebrae, so we're talking about bugs. And we do hook netting. Just 1 second.
Pause, please.
So we check out the macroinvertebrates, we identify them, and we count them. And that tells us the quality of the water because we look at the different types. And certain types of macroinvertebrates can handle very polluted water and certain kinds can't. We get mostly the ones that can handle very clean water and at times slightly questionable water. We do not get a lot of the animals that can handle a lot of pollution. That tells us that the Rappahannock River is clean and safe for us to be tubing in. The other kind of monitoring we do is chemical. So we look at dissolved oxygen, how much oxygen is the water, and just like you would want more oxygen rather than less, the animals that live in the water want more oxygen, not less oxygen. And we also look at pH, which is acidity, and we want that neutral range between 6 and 8 on the pH scale. We also look at turbidity, which is how clear the water is. And today, the water is very clear because we have not had rain in a while. And earlier, this is pretty deep here, so we can't see the bottom. But earlier when we were in shallower water, we could see all the way down to the bottom. After it rains, the Rappahannock River kind of looks like a river of chocolate milk, and that's because it's filled with particles of sediment. So really, water conservation, we're looking to conserve clean water, not polluted water, and we're looking to conserve the amount of clean water, so not being wasteful. A couple things that I wanted to talk to you about today for Ms. Robinson is leave no trace. Leave no trace is a philosophy that we use when we go into nature, but really it can be used anywhere, even no matter what setting you are on, and it makes sure that the environment, whether natural or man-made, is left more healthful after you leave the area. The 7 official leave no trace principles are plan, so wherever you go anywhere, make a plan first. That's both safety related and also helps you deal with anything you might come up with. If you're going to walk anywhere, especially near water, walk on durable surfaces. That makes sure that you don't trample plant matter, and it also makes sure that the dirt that is on any given area stays on the earth and doesn't erode off into waterways. So walk on durable areas. Leave what you find there. So don't take anything with you. If it's a natural thing in the area, leave it where it is. Don't take it out. So if you find leaves, acorns, animals, leave them where they are. Dispose of waste. So anytime you have garbage, say you have a snack bar wrapper, bring that back with you. Do not leave it in a natural environment. Many parks don't even have garbage cans because they want you to take out everything you brought in. Campfire caution. Obviously, we should always be careful with campfires or any type of fires. So make sure you thoroughly put out any campfire that you make. Respect wildlife. Never kill anything. Obviously, we always tell our campers that you can kill mosquitoes and ticks, but everything else stays where it is, alive. And the last thing is be considerate of others. Everyone is going to want to come back to this area, so make sure you left it how you found it.
So please join us on the river. Again, you can tube, kayak, come and hang out with us. Enjoy our lovely clean water.